Hi guys, this is Berdish. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about my Ratkin army. Last time I did an update on it, it was in April, and well, I can say that a lot has changed. I mean, the overall look of the army is sort of like finished, all little bits and pieces. Well, not all, but as you can see, the army as a whole looks finished. And the other thing is, I want to just share with you some thoughts on a certain tournament that I played in. I took a part in a tournament, and then I wanted to share. Talk about, well, sort of like some of my plans concerning expanding this army. Before we begin, I would like to kindly ask you to help a fellow gamer out. Just please consider subscribing this channel and liking materials that are on it, of course, if you find them to your taste. Okay, let's go and we'll see how the army looks like and what it consists. So yeah, you guys probably seen this regiment, but since I'm showing the whole army, it doesn't hurt to show it again, I suppose. Well, this is the first regiment I'd created for the sole purpose of playing Kings of War. Obviously these are GW Skaven, but right now they are Ratkin. And this is with this regiment I had this idea about these scenic elements. The interesting part is that they are painted totally different from the rest of the army. And they are painted only with washes over a rather primitive black and white scheme, but I think they look rather well. I mean, obviously nothing special, but as a unit, along with this scenic elements, I think they look rather nice. So the idea behind painting these rats in such way was speed, as always with me. I mean, speed versus quality. I did some tests and I found that they look good for the time that is being spent on painting one of them. So I've been painting them in like a bunch of tens, I believe, and this is how they turned out. To be perfectly honest, I never did this technique again. I mean, as a whole model, I did, as you will probably see, I did use it on some other bits and parts, but not as a whole. Not because I don't like it, just, I don't know, because. Anyway, this is the oldest member of my Ratkin army. Now my big beast, a mutant rat fiend to be exact. A veteran. He did play in a Warhammer Fantasy Battles long time ago, before even being finished. So actually, again, he was finished for the purpose of Kings of War. Well, not much happened to it since I showed it last time. I just finished a base with some grass and some glowy green little stone thingies. I don't know, warp stone for the Skaven, for the Ratkins, I have no clue, but for some reason they go well with the rats, right? I mean, such a green glowing, sort of like growing little pieces. You know, guys, how they say it, right? I mean, Warhammer, scars for life. Just kidding. But anyway, sharp contrast. I think he looks brilliant on the table. Now my two death engines, the crunching one and the shooty one, I think you can tell them apart easily on the table. This one, well, he doesn't have those, they were like a side warp generators, whatever. I don't like them. They sort of like screw up the whole geometry of this vehicle for me, so it's not like I didn't put them here, but I do have to put something to make it sort of like a whole. I just don't like the original element that comes with it. Therefore it's sort of like missing. The other thing that is still missing is the guy at the back, right? And that's sort of like a dude that is pumping something. He's cool. I need to put him there. I just misplaced the miniature somewhere, so I need to find it. But other than that, this is finished. This was finished. Again, just some grass on the base, and not much else happened with it. This one, I have two of these, and I chose to take to the tournaments the smaller one, sort of like, I mean, well, you'll see eventually. Anyway, again, didn't do much, just painted some cables, I think, and I did very fast job on the guy inside. Now, I need to have more people inside this engine, because when it comes to Kings of War, this strikes me as some sort of like a tank vehicle rather than a gun, and it looks you know, the look is just a proper one. So I will put like a one more guy in it, I think. Okay, now some heroes I prepared for the well, purpose of the tournament, and to actually have them finished, so I can use them in the army. I mean, some of them were partially finished or almost finished. Okay, so the assassin, just finished a little bits and pieces on him. It was painted a long time ago. I just left it the way it is. I think it's decent enough, and among the army he looks cool. So not much done to this guy. And this guy, yeah, I did some paint job on the armor, especially this sort of like a glowing runes, Ratkin runes on his armor. Finished the base, gave him the glowy rock, of course. This guy I painted on the wholly, I mean, from the start for the purpose of the tournament again. First job, looks good, if you ask me, of course. So yeah, these were two warlocks, and this guy, I actually took him as a standard bearer. You know, I figured that a guy with some electrical shocking device to prod the warriors forward is more encouraging to them than the guy with some, you know, standard. I do have rats with standard, no problem, but I thought this was amusing. So he went and filled out the role of a standard bearer. Okay, my weapon teams. One is a slight conversion for the purpose of Warhammer, but now they serve obviously as Ratkin. I did nothing to them except to create, I printed just two bases for them that are sort of like, well, I just called legal for the purpose of tournament, and they are on tack actually, attached to those bases. Well, it's not bad, I think, because, you know, originally they were glued to those smaller bases using the plastic glue, so, you know, the bond is really strong. If I'm to remove it, I may damage the model, so I decided they stay the way they are. Well, sort of, obviously, because I put them on those sort of like a spare bases, extra bases. Okay, now my big infantry, nightmares I believe they are called right now. So in terms of painting, not much happened. I mean, this is the newer guy, but I did show him the previous time. So just the whole base, I mean, these little setting elements like this bucket with the, I don't know, I'm kind of like being amused that this is something they actually eat to grow so big, right? Anyway, and this one as well with a little, I mean, little, kind of big rat, also with the chunk of the glowing rock and the scenic element. And well, I was in a hurry, so this is actually a printed element that I painted sort of like to match the rest of those scenic thingies, of course the little rat thingy on it. And well, here it is how the whole horde looks like at the moment. Here it is another of my, second horde of my spear warriors, the way I use them anyway. So the models were there when I was showing this unit last time. I just painted a few. These are painted long time ago, so I was trying to match the scheme. Nothing fancy again. So the big dramatic element in the middle was actually destined to be with the shock troops, but I don't have enough shock troops to make a horde for the moment. So it is with the warriors for the moment. It helps with the moving the regiment, as you can see, and it's, like I said, it's a very dramatic gate. Well, I like it. Anyway, it's balsa and some styrodur polyester, and other than that, well, nothing special. I mean, two more scenic elements because I just like them. I mean, like I said, the half of the fun Kings of War for me is making those, things that bind the army together. Yeah, well, in my case anyway, these are the scenic elements. Well, I do hope that they sort of like a bind army together. Now they mentioned shock troops. Well, only regiment. Well, for the moment, regretfully. Okay, again, very dramatic big piece. These are printed elements, apart from this wooden pole that is holding the bell, and this is balsa simply. And of course some glowy rocks, and well, like I said, I have a few more, but not enough to make them into a horde, so I need to buy a bunch. I'm just trying to get just a few, not to buy the whole another box, because well, they are, it's GW models, so they cost equivalent of gold, pretty much. Anyway, and the other thing is that before buying any more GW models, I'm sort of like waiting what the Mantic will do, because right now when I'm recording this, we do have some Ratkin models coming out, and they look pretty good, so I'm kind of curious. We don't have any shock troops, but I suppose they will, they are planning to do some, so I want to know how they look, and if they will fit with my existing models, to see if I can fit them in. I mean, the models they are showing right now are very promising, very cool. I'm gonna get them and use them one way or another. Just waiting for some more to show up, so I can, like I said, to check them and see how they will go with my existing dudes. Okay, a little remark when it comes to painting the rats themselves. I mean, the skin here was painted using this wash technique, and the rest was painted in more traditional ways. I mean, contrast was actually using contrast paint. GW was used on the red cloth, but then I actually highlighted it and such. Well, anyway, and this is how they end up looking. Well, about the mentioned tournament. So I don't play in many tournaments in any game, I mean any system, and I think I played like 3 or maybe 2 actually. Well, anyway, not many, and this army, I was so rushing the whole thing. I mean, even during just the day before, I was still like finishing bits and pieces, like scenic elements, sticking these guys to their moving trays and so on and go on. So I didn't have the time to play even one tryout game, so I really didn't know how this army is going to play. I mean, well, the first thing is that I knew that this is not some optimal super killer army, because this is simply made of elements, I mean miniatures that I had at hand. I mean, I had those in my collection, so I used them. I mean, well, I did buy the storm variant to make them into shock troops, but other than that, just some stuff I had. And other thing is that, well, I'm not experienced enough player just to look at the statistics of the units and to simply judge that they will do wonderful or not. Just there is no other way of putting this than well, I was soundly beaten. Oh yeah, okay, so to be blunt, I was pretty much tabled in all 3 games. Well, the first game I played against very shooty army of elves, and they just pretty much shot me to pieces before charging me and trampling me into the ground. That's what happened. The other 2 games, well, similar when it comes to results. I mean, I lost, and I lost pretty much whole of my army, but then I did pretty lots of damage in return before dying utterly. So the second game was against my nemesis, my friend and his dwarves, and well, like I said, it ended up pretty badly, but again, I did a lot of damage actually to his army. And the third game was against elves again, but it was quite a different army, very hand-to-hand, combat orientated army, and again I did a lot of damage in return, but well, still I lost pretty badly. So why the results were so dire for me? Okay, well, first of all, I realized that this army was not something very optimal in terms of being like a killer rat army. So this basically was what I had in my collection, apart from shock troops. Storm vermin from GW. These guys I bought especially to make them into shock troops, but the rest was just models I had, and I just wanted to try the army out. So I knew that. The second thing is that I didn't even play one game before the tournament, because I was so rushing with all of this. The scenic elements, to finish them, to put everything on moving trays and so on, that I didn't have a time to play even one game before the tournament. So I totally didn't know how this army is going to play, and I'm simply not experienced enough to just look at the statistics of troops, units, and decide whether they be strong in this or other regard. So yeah, that's the second part. The third part is that I took some idiotic magic items. I just, after the tournament, I was wondering, why the hell did I do that, right? And another thing is that simply I was just playing this army wrong. In a very wrong way, sort of like trying to use my two spear horde of rats as a pikeman. Like a human pikeman from Kingdoms of Man army. I'm kind of used to this army because this is what I play the most, and this is pretty strong unit in terms of being an anvil. They can sustain quite a lot of damage and still stand firm. Rats can't, not these rats anyway. So they got destroyed pretty much in every game, and destroyed too soon, which is a key, since I was sort of like trying to anchor my strategy with those two hordes. My strategy pretty much fell apart after they were destroyed. Again, they were destroyed too soon, because if they were destroyed in the later part of the game, I suppose they would have been fine, but in the end it was not. I knew this before. I know this before that you should have like at least one or two hordes of shock troops. So yeah, I'm planning on getting at least one, and then we'll see. Like I said, I'll wait for Mantic to see what they will come up with. Maybe they will come up with some nice miniatures, because these skavens, like I already said, that are being released pretty much right now, they look pretty cool, honestly. And also what I was planning, but it didn't realize before the tournament, it didn't realize still, it's the flying demon thing, rat, because someone said that don't leave your home without it. So I'm planning on it. Here you can see that I'm just actually planning to do some conversion with this guy, because GW model is just huge, and too huge, too big, for the purpose of Kings of War. So I'm planning to make something on my own. Partially, obviously, because this is a Gorgorat body with some parts from the mentioned GW Vermin Lord. Green stuff need to be used, obviously, because this just holds on tack. And we'll see. I will show you what I'll make of it. Possibly I will record the whole process of converting this guy, and we will see how this is going to turn out. So yeah, that's pretty much about my failures. Hopefully in the future the rats will do better. Okay, this is also it for today. So stay healthy, keep playing, and till next time. Cheers!